British Columbia has approximately 15,000 grizzlies in the province, and nearly 150,000 black bears. Grizzly bears are a subspecies of the brown bear that inhabits North America. The grizzly bear's fur varies from blonde to nearly black, but typically brown with darker colored fur on the legs, and sometimes white or blonde tip fur on the back and flank. A grizzly has a pronounced muscular hump on the shoulders. Black bears do not have this pronounced hump. This hump is attached to the bear's backbone, and gives the bear additional strength for digging. Grizzlies have short rounded ears while black bears have longer ears. A grizzly bear's rump sits much lower than its shoulders while a black bear's rump is higher than its shoulders. Grizzlies have 3 to 4 inch claws while black bears have 2-inch claws. Grizzlies are in the order Carnivora, meaning their digestive systems are designed to eat meat. However, grizzlies usually are omnivores. Their diet consists of both animals and plants. Grizzlies are known to prey upon large mammals when the opportunity strikes, such as elk, moose, deer, sheep, bison, and even black bears. Grizzlies are more likely to take injured or young animals. Grizzlies will even steal a fresh kill from a pack of wolves. In this footage, the wolves chased a group of elk and made a kill, but a grizzly bear that was tagging behind steals it. This is known as kleptoparasitism. Grizzlies are also scavengers, and will eat carrion left by other animals. Their diet also consists of birds, eggs, and fish, particularly during spawning season. Grizzlies in Canada and Alaska are much larger than those in the Rocky Mountains due to differences in diet. The female grizzly can weigh up to 700 pounds, while the male can weigh up to 1,700 pounds. Grizzly bears are considered more aggressive than black bears when defending their offspring. Black bears can easily climb trees, but grizzlies are much larger and do not climb as well, so they respond to threats by standing their ground and being more aggressive. Grizzlies typically avoid humans. Most attacks result from the bear being surprised at close range, defending a kill, or females protecting their offspring. Bear attacks are rare, but they do occasionally happen. Colin Dowler grew up on Quadra Island, and lives in Campbell River. He works as an electrician for Island Health, and enjoys gardening, fishing, and being in the woods. Colin Dowler enjoyed biking in the remote backcountry in British Columbia, around 185 miles north of Vancouver. In August of 2019 he was out on his bike looking for possible trails in the area of Mount Doogie Dowler. The mountain is named after his grandfather, so he and his brother had plans to climb it. The mountain is remote and located on the Ramsay Arm northeast of Campbell River on the British Columbia mainland. He spent the night in the woods camping, then decided to head home the next morning. He was only about 6 miles from the logging camp that he started his biking from the day before. The first 2 miles was uneventful, however, as he turned a bend, he saw a huge grizzly bear on the trail. The bear was about 100 feet away. He anticipated that the bear would want to avoid him just as much as he wanted to avoid the bear. Colin stopped dead in his tracks and considered his options. He could ride away the opposite direction, drive past the bear, or remain still and wait to see if the bear leaves. Colin made the decision to stay put. He took off his backpack and grabbed a hiking pole from his bike. He figured if the bear does try to attack, at least he had something to defend himself with. Colin stood in fear, waiting and anticipating what may happen. The bear kept walking forward toward Colin at a normal pace. Colin's heart fluttered in his chest. When the bear reached where Colin stood, it walked past his bike, but as soon as his backside cleared the bike, it immediately circled behind Colin. Colin knew the bear was sizing him up for an attack. Colin began banging on the bike with the hiking pole in an attempt to scare the bear away. He immediately put the bike between him and the bear and gently poked at the bear with the hiking stick. The bear grabbed at the stick and the two stood tugging back and forth over the stick. The bear began coming at him with heavy swats at the ground. The closer the bear got to Colin, the heavier and harder the swats became. That's when Colin picked up the bike and threw it at the bear. The bike did not deter the bear, it came full force and bit into his torso just below his ribs. A sharp pain ripped through Colin's side, and he felt the sensation of warm blood running down his body. The animal picked him up by the torso, and carried him 50 feet to the edge of the road. Colin tried gouging at the bear's eyes, but this only angered the bear into attacking more aggressively. The bear continued biting his thighs. Colin could hear the bear's teeth grinding on his bones. The pain was unbearable. Colin remembered that if you are attacked you need to play dead, so he stopped fighting and pretended to be dead. However, the bear did not stop. This attack wasn't about anything other than Colin was meant to be his next meal, and he was hungry. The only option Colin had was fight back or die. He remembered he had a pocket knife in his right pants pocket. His father gave it to him just a couple of weeks before. However, getting his hand free was no easy task. The bear's full weight was on his chest, and both hands were now pinned under the bear's body. Colin wiggled his right hand back and forth until finally it was free. He reached into his pocket, and pulled the knife out, then opened it. As he maneuvered the knife into position it sliced across the bear's chest. The bear continued biting into Colin's thigh. Colin drew the knife back with all his force, and lunged the knife into the animal's neck, then quickly jerked the knife back out. Blood ran down the knife, and onto Colin's hand. The attack immediately stopped. The bear jumped off of Colin's body and ran into the woods, leaving a trail of blood in his wake. Colin used his knife to cut off his shirt sleeve, then used it as a tourniquet around the gaping wound in his leg. Despite his injuries he jumped on his bike and cycled nearly 5 miles to a logging camp. As soon as the loggers noticed him he collapsed. At the logging camp, the 5 workers were all trained in first aid. The men went to work doing all they could to stop the bleeding, and immediately called for an air ambulance. When the air ambulance arrived they realized Colin had lost a considerable amount of blood, so they administered a blood transfusion. Colin was extremely lucky. The paramedics just recently were given the authority to give blood on the scene. Colin was flown to Vancouver Hospital where he would spend the next 40 days recovering from his injuries. Colin was in surgery for 6.5 hours. Doctors had to make a 6-inch incision to repair the damage to his left artery, and treated more than 50 gashes and bite wounds. It took 200 staples and stitches. He was treated for deep puncture wounds, deep cuts, and required surgery for damage to his femoral artery. The bear that attacked Colin was tracked down by provincial conservation officers and humanely euthanized. They were able to confirm it was the same bear by the knife wound in the bear's neck. After over a year of physical therapy to rebuild the nerves in his legs, Colin finally was able to enjoy the outdoors again. Now when he enjoys the outdoors he always carries pepper spray on his belt. When in grizzly bear country always carry bear spray on your person. Buy 3 cans, test one so you know how to use it, keep one on your person and one in your backpack. Always travel in groups of more than 2 people. Each person in your group should carry bear spray on their person as well. Studies reveal that 98% of the time that bear spray was used in an attack it was effective. If you are camping, keep all your food in a bear bag up in a tree, and at least 12 feet off the ground. Tie the rope to another tree. If the campground provides food storage lockers, use those. Never leave food, coolers, or dirty dishes unattended. This attracts bears and can lead to an unwanted encounter. Wash all dishes, pots, pans and utensils immediately after use. Be sure to get rid of all garbage in bear-proof dumpsters and trash cans. If you see or hear a bear, do not startle or surprise it. Communicate in a calm tone with the bear, letting it know you are there. Never run. A bear can run over 30 miles per hour and the average human can only run about 7 miles per hour. The moment you start to run, you become prey. As hard as it sounds, try to remain calm. Getting upset will not help your situation and can lead to mistakes that could cost you your life. If the bear attacks, play dead. Act as unthreatening as possible. Get into a fetal position, and wrap your hands around your neck to cover your vulnerable areas. Lay on your stomach if possible. Most of the time grizzlies will walk away once they realize you are not a threat. Remain completely still until the bear moves on. If playing dead does not make the bear stop attacking, the only option is to fight back. When a bear doesn't stop the attack, it means it sees you as its next meal, so fighting back at this point is a life or death battle. If you have a small child or dog in your group, pick it up. The bear may see them as prey for easy pickings. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more from Wild Animal Network.